What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
We're recording, but can I tell you how many times I've had to check how to spell Hungary or Hungarian?
It's Hungary, and then replace that Y with an IAN for Hungarian.
I know, but it's literally like it's one of those countries that's gonna.
Welcome, everyone. C current can spell.
No! Yeah, you're C current.
Yes.
I thought you were saying that.
You're already getting the names wrong. Come on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 21. I'm prepared.
21.
F1 Underground. My name is, according to Duracell, my name is Tough Current, and that is C Current, aka
C-current.
Casey Nowen. I just when I was doing it, I was like, clearly, obviously, we're going to be the same, birthday month. That's what the current is. But then I like that you were C Current. I was like, that makes sense for me more, but
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, you're C Current, and I'm Tough Current.
It fits.
It fits. I kind of like Tough Current. It's some good ones. What would Mom be? Mom would be Negative Current.
Just going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
Dad would be AA Current.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so welcome. We have lots of We have lots of weekly news to go over. It's been a busy week in the world of F1. We've got I think it's officially silly season. It's safe to say. Grab some popcorn, strap in. It's going to be a long one. And then we're going to do history with Owen and some predictions for the Hungarian GP. We'll first start off, as always, with Meme of the Week. I should have asked Kyle to make different, what's it called? Like our names.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah. Sorry.
You should have pitched them to me.
Looking at our Threads account.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay. Maddie, you to the stream.
Zoom
in.
This is.
Can you zoom in?
Yes, I'm going.
Zoom in!
Gosh.
Fuck the audio.
Can you zoom in?
May he rest in peace.
So obviously, we'll go over this in weekly news too. But Nick DeVries is out. Daniel Ricciardo is back in. But this post again from Formula Dank comes from God Will Rise. This is the tagline is remembering Nick DeVries' career in F1. Let's remember this, and then ... And it's so perfect because it's just DeVries behind on an outlap, and Carlos Sainz gets on the radio and says, "What? Debris?" And I think it just makes so much sense for Nick DeVries, and he will be missed.
I think this was from. Was this when he drove in the Williams last year for Albon? I think
this might
or
be
that
because
testing.
I don't remember seeing this. I don't remember seeing this at all this year.
No, it's definitely from last year or very early this season, but
I just think it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
Nick DeVries, you will be missed. Not really. What? It's Daniel Ricciardo. I have to be more. I know. Excited for Daniel Ricciardo coming back than Nick DeVries leaving.
I know.
One of them has to get my attention, and my attention is going to Daniel Ricciardo. But that is my meme of the week. Just nice. Just think of this whenever you think of Nick DeVries' career.
Yes, Carlos Sainz. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, mine. First, I showed you this the other day. This is a TikTok posted by Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't know from when. He's playing one of those. It's obviously Charlotte Claire playing one of those stupid TikTok games. It's just his face. He looks pissed off. He looks miserable. And then it's the fact when he gets a score at the end, he looks annoyed, like he didn't do well. Meanwhile, he landed all in the yellow. So that
it's so good.
Yeah. It's so good. I commented, there's one of the most liked comments on the TikTok, and I said, there are no thoughts behind those eyes. Because there are no thoughts behind the eyes
You have to give the man credit, too, that, play the video again. There you go.
It is.
You have to give him credit that it's all controlled by blinking. And he is just, look, that was a bullseye. That was a yellow. Like he's doing
He
pretty
gets-
well for blinking, you know. And
he gets
so
one
pissed off.
bullseye, but they're all in the yellow. I mean, blinking obviously for an F1 driver is. What did we talk with Mark that one time? He mentioned with Max Verstappen, like how much he does not blink. So
Blink.
yeah. So I did also have another one. It kind of goes off of what you were just talking about. So when they first released the picture yesterday of Daniel Ricciardo in his AlphaTauri suit, they just photoshopped. This is the first one. They just photoshopped his head onto Nick DeVries' body. So for the audio listeners, it's the one with the gray background. You see the AlphaTauri suit, and when you first look at it, I was like, okay. And then you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, that's not Daniel Ricciardo's body. Yeah.
If
so
you
then
look closer at the neck, you can also see it too. Like it's very much just like photoshopped.
So I screen grabbed this from the Furious One. They put a little video together and they show, this face is from his McLaren photo. And they literally just photoshopped his head onto Nick DeVries' body, who Nick DeVries is like 5'1". Like he's so short. He's not 5'1", but regardless. So then, they reposted this one. Next thing you know, like a few hours later, this one on the other side of the picture with the navy blue background was posted. And that's his actual body. Yeah.
You got it. This reminds me of when like players get traded around like the NHL, because this is essentially what is happening right now.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And then they have like the little cutout at the bottom of the screen, and it's just them. Like the Flyers are orange, so it's just the person's face, and then just an orange shirt or like an orange jersey that's photoshopped in there. That's exactly what that is. I mean, he was traded from,
one team. I mean, he technically got sent down, if you think about it. He got sent down to the junior team. But we'll get into him. We're going to cover him last in our weekly news. I did have another picture. It kind of goes off with what I want to go into with the talk about the Festival of Speed that happened this past weekend in England. So obviously there was a few drivers that were there. It was canceled Saturday because of weather. So I think Lando was supposed to drive something on Saturday, but didn't end up driving. But besides that, Sebastian Vettel was there. Jenson Button drove a few cars. Mick drove a few cars, including his dad's. Alex Albon, Logan Sargent, Oscar Piastri, they were all there. But Sebastian Vettel, obviously, I think was one of the ones everyone was very excited for. So there's this picture that came out. There's something about this picture.
Shit.
But when he retired last year, he said that he's like, no one's going to remember me. And then this picture comes out. And that's why I thought, that's why I posted, and he thought no one would remember him. And like, it's almost something like biblical about the picture, or like Renaissance. Like
there's a subreddit called Accidental Renaissance, and it takes like
pictures like that. Yeah,
people post pictures that like somehow just have this like Renaissance feel to it. And I was just about to say, this feels like this would be posted in Accidental Renaissance. I'm gonna look now and see if it is, because
it might be. It's just like it's like he's like God or something, and like everyone's. I mean, most of the people there were probably there to see him because he's the newly retired one. But yes, I wanted to show that picture also before we continue. But yeah, I thought that picture was cool. All right, I can stop sharing my screen. Okay. But yes, so obviously Sebastian Vettel drove two cars, actually. He drove a Williams and a McLaren. He drove Nigel Mansell's Williams FW14B. That was the car that won the 1992 F1 World Championship. I also think Nigel Mansell was there as well, because there was pictures of him getting into a car, and I would assume he was getting into his own car. But
right.
And then Sebastian Vettel also drove. This one was probably the coolest one out of both of them. He had a special helmet and everything. He drove Ayrton Senna's 1993 McLaren MP48 on after the Williams. So that was probably
that's nice, yeah.
And he had like that special white suit. But yeah, I was happy to see Sebastian Vettel. And then we all know he's doing the Red Bull show run, I think in September, right?
I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, I think
I'm looking at
September.
pictures of the McLaren MP48 right now. This is beautiful.
Beautiful. The old school
so
F1
cool.
cars are so cool looking. And I couldn't find what Jenson Button drove, because he drove It almost looked like a NASCAR, but it was not a NASCAR. I think
Right.
it's the Jeep. And then he drove like another old school one as well. But yeah, then obviously the one that was low-key the most emotional, I think, out of all of them, Mercedes took full control, as they should. Mick got to drive his dad's, oh man, I didn't put what car it was. I want to say the W12, the Mercedes M12, not the. Can you look it up? But yes, while Owen's looking it up, exactly what car it is. He got to drive his dad's car. He wore his dad's helmet, the red helmet that he wore while he drove for Mercedes, and wore his dad's white race suit. So it was like, and the pictures, side-by-side pictures that they were posting Mercedes, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I think it was something 12.
I found the YouTube video for it, but it doesn't say the car name. Let me see if I can. Mick Schumacher doing a donut in Michael Schumacher's
Yeah, well, did you see
Mercedes
what?
car.
Did you see what?
Yes, I already know what you're gonna ask. And
So Mercedes posted a video of Mick Schumacher doing donuts, and it said the caption said, "Okay, Mick, you can do donuts now." Obviously, throwing not subtle shade at Haas last year after they refused to let him do donuts at the last race of the season. And the best is the Haas admin responded with like the eyes emojis, like, "Oh, we see you."
the WO2 is what
I
it's
was
called.
so wrong.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, you said W12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were one number off.
But yes, the pictures were cool. It was just cool to see him in his dad's car. I'm sure it was cool for him.
Oh, that's got to be a huge moment for him.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm sure
getting
as soon as Mercedes knew they were going to have him, Mick, they were probably like, "We know what car you're driving."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We know. But the fact that he wore his dad's race suit and then like the helmet also was. But like it was the side by side pictures I saw, like the one of Mick sitting in the car, like with the helmet on, like head on, and then there was a picture of his dad. Like obviously you can tell which picture is which, like because of the quality. But I mean,
Right.
he looks just like his dad, so it was interesting. It was just cool to see. But
Yeah, that is very cool to see.
yeah, that was most notable out of those, I think. But yeah, I don't think anything else from that. We'll do the silly season stuff last. We'll go through all the random stuff. So also today, Mr. Nicholas Latifi, go Tifi. Everyone's been wondering where he is on the anniversary of when he went P1 in practice last year, because that was Hungary last year. He posted today, he came out of hiding. He posted that I was just reading it over before we started. He didn't officially say he was retiring. He's just said, "I decided that for the immediate future, I want to take some time and pursue a different avenue and focus on another path." So he's taking some time away for racing, and he's going back to school in London to get his MBA in business, which pretty cool. Yeah, he's already started it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool that he said, like, I'm not officially done. Yes, I got it. Sorry, there's a gnat. It's cool that he said, I'm not officially out. However, I am just going to step away from a bit, and just go focus on this other thing and do this other stuff. I mean, I can't sit here and be like, he was a great driver and he, has left such a legacy and all this stuff. He didn't, he was more known for his memes and crashing and everything than he was his driving skills. But I mean, cool for him as a person, like, fuck yeah, go get your MBA. Yeah.
Maybe he can come back as a business person in F1 if he wants to, or somewhere in motorsport. I'm sure. It's not like he hasn't.
If he goes and gets those qualifications and then comes back and wants to get started in the business world of F1, I'm sure there's somebody who will take him.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
no
Yeah,
doubt
yeah.
in my mind, there's somebody who would take him.
And obviously, I have no idea who he is. Whatever, but like he doesn't strike me as someone that's stupid. So I think he'll be. But yeah, I remember someone posted earlier when the races were kind of boring at the beginning, and they're like, "This is when I missed Nicholas Latifi because you knew he would get a crash and a red flag."
You knew
some crazy
he was,
start.
like I said, he was good for his memes, and he was good for his entertainment value of starting a race, and that racing was, I'm gonna cause a crash. It's like, oh, all right, like cool.
I would love to know
ahead.
how much money he cost Williams last year. Love to know.
There's got to be an article about that somewhere.
Oh, well, there's already the numbers out that you can like see which driver, like the average they have cost their team for crashes and stuff. Because, I mean, Haas said that Mick crashed all the time. He did not crash that often. Yeah. So, like, compared to Haas in like 2019 and 2020, I feel like their Drive to Survive episodes, they were crashing literally every session, every race. So
every episode, you were guaranteed at least one angry shot of Gunther staring at a screen with his head in his hands. It's just like you're guaranteed one shot per episode. But
what's the quote from him? Bunch of legends.
We're a bunch of fucking. No, didn't he say we're a bunch of fucking assholes?
Yeah, maybe.
Like a bunch of assholes?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm looking it up now. He looked like a bunch of assholes. Look like a bunch of wankers, is what he said.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was like, wait, I want to say wankers, but then I was just like thinking of Ted Lasso and thought I was wrong.
He calls. Yeah. I can't remember the boss. He says, we look like a bunch of wankers. Yeah, great quote. Put that on a shirt.
I'm sure there is a shirt like that. The best is when as soon as Haas done something wrong during any session of a race weekend, that you go right on Twitter or Threads,
everywhere.
Anything, it's right there.
Yeah,
it's right there.
It's because it's such a legendary quote.
Yeah, you know who I can always count on posting it? Mark. He posts it every time.
Good on Mark. Please,
he
Mark,
always
you're
posts
listening to this. Please do it more, please.
Well, they have to do something in order to post it, but
yeah, I don't want to see Haas fail, but I always love seeing a good meme of Gunther on the timeline.
Good. Yeah. But yes, and then besides that, there was also two other pieces of news. They're not apparently. Let me pull up the screenshot. I think I screenshotted it.
Are you talking about the three teams?
Give me 2. Yeah, I was gonna pull up the actual.
So the three teams that are apparently.
Yeah, so they're rumored. Yeah, there's rumors, but he doesn't want to. Okay, here you go. There are rumors within the paddock that there are 3 teams that may have breached the budget cap. What's his name? The FIA pres or F1 president, I can never pronounce his name, says the team should face sporting penalties if they breach the cap. And obviously, remember, this is the cap for last year. So, and after the slap on the wrist that Red Bull was given last year of a penalty, that was like nothing. Yeah. Every team was probably like, okay, fine. So we have no idea who the teams are. It's fun to speculate. There's strong rumors that it could be Ferrari, and that's just going to suck because they're going to breach the cost cap, or not the cost cap, the budget cap with that awful car. Like if I get your Red Bull, but it's probably Red Bull again. If I had to guess, it's probably Red Bull again. Probably for some stupid reason. Like last year, it was their catering. It's probably Red Bull again. I'm going to say Ferrari and Mercedes because they were the 2 that were going after Red Bull the most. So they're going to be like, in spite of Red Bull and the penalty they got. But if they come back and give them, the people that breached the budget cap, if they come back and give them a worse penalty, the world's going to explode. Total Wolf is going to blow up.
It would be even worse if, like, to me, if Red Bull is in those 3, which I think they are,
Yeah.
If Red Bull is in those three, and then the other two come out, whoever it may be, and they all get the same penalty across the board, like, yeah, people are definitely going to be pissed, but also at the same time, if it's the same penalty across the board and it's more than what they got last year, like, okay, you did it across the board. If Red Bull isn't in there and they come out and they give three teams a worse penalty, people are then going to be like what you're saying. People are going to freak out because they're going to be like,
oh, yeah.
Fuck? You only fined these guys last year, something they were very able to afford, and that was it. You know, why are you, whatever the penalty may be, whatever's worse, why are you giving it now to these teams when you did this last year? It's going to blow up. I think, personally, it's Red Bull. I agree with that. I think it's definitely Red Bull. I think it's – I don't know if this is my backwards thinking. I don't know if I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I think it's McLaren.
Ooh.
Because obviously they had upgrades. And this is where my backwards thinking comes in. They have so many sponsors that are obviously paying for shit that I think it was kind of like oh my God, we have all this money. What do we do with it? Oh shit, we went over the cost cap by accident. So I think it's McLaren. Again, I don't know if that's backwards thinking. I don't know if that's how sponsorships work. I don't really know. But
yeah, but I can see McLaren.
That's my general understanding of it. The other team that I can see that is struggling with it, or not struggling with it, that breached it, Aston Martin.
Yeah, I was going to say, Aston Martin was my other.
They did something that just overhauled their entire car. So that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money to put into the cost cap. And
they just redid their entire facility.
Right? They just did the entire facility. And we know that stupid shit like catering falls into the cost cap. So it's not unreasonable to say that rebuilding your facility falls under the cost cap. So I could see it being those two. I do agree, however, with your Mercedes and Ferrari takes as well. I could 100% see it being them. The only team that I really can't see it being Williams.
Yeah, so I saw that Alex Albon's girlfriend posted like a photo dump, and there was one. She looked at Be Real and Schwarbaum, and Alex is literally dead asleep. And someone screenshot and says, "When you know your team's not breaching the cost cap because they just don't have money."
And that's the thing to me. It's either they don't have the money, and the other half of it is when you don't have the money, you're very conscious of how you spend your money. So it's like
they're pinching pennies over there at Williams.
They have somebody, they have like a progress bar. Like when you're taking donations of like, this is how much money we spent so far. We have 40% of the bar left to fill. Like we can't go past this point by this date. Yeah, the only team I can't see it being is Williams. And it's just because they're poor and they're penny pinching. Yeah.
I also can't see it being, I feel like Haas is still low-key penny pinching.
They are. Remember, they just did their whole thing with their pit wall. That's this season. They did that.
Oh, yes. They have like two people on the pit wall. Yeah.
They shrunk it from like 7 or 8 seats down to like 3. And they
have like no one.
Save us this much money, and we're going to put this much money back into the car. Yeah, I agree with that 100% too.
Yeah. It's definitely Williams and Haas are sleeping well at night because they know it's not them.
I can't wait for the news to come out, and we're dead wrong.
I know, silly season.
We are. It is Haas, Red Bull, Williams. Those are the three that are breaking the cost cap.
If it's Williams, I'm going to be like, what were you spending it on? Those special liveries? Like, they've already had one, and they're having another one coming up for 2 races. Like, is that what you spent all your money on?
That's how much money it costs to paint the battery at the top of their car.
Yeah, it's Duracell.
Just kidding, Duracell. We're friends now. Don't hate us.
We're friends now.
We are
we're friends now. Yes, and then last piece of weekly news before we jump into. Oh no, actually, this and another piece of fun news. The FIA is expected to approve Andretti and High-Tech's, how do you say it? F1's application. Alpine is going to support the application of the new applicants because the French racing team would be the first point of contact for engines and a chassis. How do you say that? Chassis program partnership. So basically, like Ferrari to Haas and Alfa Romeo. Alpine would be for those two, which I'm excited. Give us some more teams on the grid. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah. I just thought of something else.
No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, it's something completely different.
I thought it was funny. It's funny to me that it's like having an F1 team is such a large item and such a big thing, and it's just getting boiled down to like, hey, I want to put in for an F1 team. Here's my resume. Like that's literally what it is.
Well, it seems like
it's kind of funny, but it makes sense. You standardize it that way. But all right, go ahead.
I also like that Alpine's gonna be like the head team. I mean, they're reliable, but I feel like they don't have. Maybe this is me not knowing much about this sport still, but I feel like compared to Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, you just don't think of Alpine with that group.
Yeah, you don't. You're not.
I would put Aston Martin before that, but we all know Aston Martin is using Mercedes engine parts. Like, I don't. Yeah. I would not put Alpine ahead of them.
You're not thinking of Alpine when you think of Formula.
No, not at all. But yes, 2 more pieces of news I saw today. Well, they posted today that the planning is great. Kevin Magnussen's wife gave birth to their second daughter over this past weekend.
Yes.
Like, props to her for going to labor on a non-race weekend.
Yes, that's big.
And also, Kevin Magnussen being a girl dad to 2 daughters is just kind of perfect. I can see him as a girl dad.
That
like,
tracks.
Never having boys. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah. And then this is also random. I saw, because of the actors, the SAG union strike, along with the writers' strike, that the Brad Pitt's movie won't be filming, obviously, during this time. So
yeah,
we all know they were at Silverstone, but there's nothing planned for them upcoming because of this strike. So it'll be interesting to see what they can get from it. But, yeah. But now, it's a silly season. I feel like there should be, like, a silly season song.
You're right. I feel like there should be.
I posted on Threads, I said, there's no official start to silly season. It's just like one day you wake up and it's just like, hello, silly season is here to go.
You're in it.
So, which the last part of silly season, we literally talked about the rumors of it last week. And then the next morning we woke up and I was like, that's what we get for recording a day early. But obviously, so there, besides the news everyone knows, there was news about Leclerc. He had meetings with Red Bull and Aston Martin, and most likely Mercedes on top of that. But Fred Vasseur said his number 1 objective is re-signing Leclerc, which I've mentioned this before. That explains Carlos Sainz's behavior the past few weeks. If there's no movement on his contract, but obviously he knows Fred's number 1 guy is Charles Leclerc. But I hope that Charles Leclerc having those meetings lights the fire under Ferrari's ass, because they're going to lose their golden boy.
That to me is like, if Leclerc's getting anything out of these meetings with Red Bull, Aston Martin, Mercedes, whoever he's meeting with, if he's getting one thing out of this, it's that Ferrari is now getting scared, and then they're going to come to him and they're going to say, here's what we got for you. Here's what we can do for you. What do you we have a blank check right here. Let's write it. We'll write it for you. What do you need?
I literally was thinking about it. It's like if the Eagles weren't doing well and Jalen Hurts was like going to other teams to have meetings, and the Eagles being like, "Oh shit, we're gonna lose."
Yeah, we gotta figure
one person. Yeah. So I hope.
Don't get me wrong. And we've said this before. Charles Leclerc in a Red Bull would be fantastic. Charles Leclerc in an Aston Martin, fantastic. Charles Leclerc even in a Mercedes, fantastic.
If Mercedes gets their shit together also, I could see.
Which I feel I have more faith in Mercedes doing that right now than I do Ferrari.
Oh,
so that's why I'm saying, even in a Mercedes, that's still good. That's good. But yeah, I mean, he should be going and having these meetings and then walking back into the Red Bull, the Ferrari garage with a big old smirk on his face and just waiting for everybody to wait over him hand and foot. And that's exactly
this is what they told me.
Yeah. That should be his only thing going into these meetings, because he has said before, I want to stay I want to be at Ferrari. And we all know everybody at Ferrari loves him. So it's
everyone in Italy loves him. Like,
Right.
he's not.
Right, that's the thing. Like, I don't see him leaving to join another team, but I do applaud him for.
I like
going
how
out
he's
there
starting in
and-
them.
Yeah, if these meetings are legit, which I want to say if, just to put that little like plausible like whatever there. If those meetings are legit, that's a big win for Charles Leclerc as a person because it shows that other teams are interested in him, and Ferrari has to figure their shit out for him to stay there. And I mean, that's good that Fred's first response after this is. And it's not even a response because he's been saying it for, we talked about this a little bit.
The whole
last week.
season.
Yeah, is re-signing Leclerc is my number one priority right now. And you're right. That explains why Carlos has been acting the way he has been. But I also do get it. Like,
Yeah, I do too.
like he's driving scared right now, and he wants to get a new contract and everything. I don't think he has really anything to fear, but
I don't think he does either. He's going to go to another team, Carlos, if he doesn't re-sign with Ferrari, if the Alex Albon rumors come true and he's at Ferrari. But, like, I don't think Carlos Sainz is not going to end up like Mick Schumacher and not be on a team. That's just not going to happen. He will be fine.
I think he will end up on his feet, but I do get that, there's a little bit of a fire lit under his feet right now. Like,
well, especially if all the rumors with the Santander and how they have their foot in the door when they shouldn't have too much of their foot in the door, like, I get that. So he's probably like, I brought this money in for Santander. But yeah, I also saw it was said, I can't remember if it was Christian Horner or someone else in Red Bull saying that, maybe it was Christian Horner, basically saying he wants a dream team. Like, he wants Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, or he wants Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Because then, even if it's like this season, then they'll let the Red Bulls fight for 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, because they know those two will keep their own with the Red Bull car, not like Checo and fail to make it into Q2. But that's what they're like, we want. I mean, Lando, I could see Lando in a Red Bull. I could see it.
I could 100% see Lando in a Red Bull. Yeah. And I completely agree with Christian Horner. As dominant as Red Bull is, fucking give us a dream team. Because then, like, you're making a battle again for Max of just like, you two are in the same car, go fight each other.
It's like when Lewis Hamilton lost to Nico Rosberg. They were in equal machinery for Mercedes, and he beat him. Like, that's even more exciting than two-team battle. Like, I'd rather see two drivers battling it out if you're going to be that dominant, and we know they're going to be forever.
I would love to see two super fast cars, two absolutely dominant cars, even if they are on the same team, battle it out with each other. Like, please, like, I don't disagree with Christian Horner whatsoever. Please.
No, it was one instance I was like, Christian Horner, I feel you. I understand. Like, you're bored also.
that would be so much fun to watch.
Yeah. And then there was rumors, it wasn't a rumor, Yuki came out saying, it was a quote from Yuki today that he said he's had talks with Helmut Marko to extend his contract as well. So we'll see. I hope that goes. I mean, people literally are saying Yuki would have to go to war and come back to still prove to Helmut Marko that he's capable of being a driver in the Red Bull. I think Yuki's been pretty good this season to be stay with AlphaTauri.
I think AlphaTauri is the perfect place for him right now.
Yeah.
In terms of, and that's partly because we love Yuki. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's a decent driver. And I'm just saying, like, I want him to get an extension just so then he has like a job. Like, he is driving. I would rather see him drive for AlphaTauri than not drive at all. So yeah, I hope he's talking to them about it, and I hope he met with, Helmut, and it all went well and everything.
Yeah, I hope the conversation has started. I mean, obviously he was outperforming his former teammate, so by a lot. But that moves us into our next Yuki Tsunoda's new teammate. He's brand new to the grid. No one's heard of him before.
No one's heard of him anymore. Unhold superstar.
Boring personality, like no personality at all. Just kidding. The man is back. Daniel Ricciardo.
Danny Rick.
Thank God. When that news came through last week, I was so torn. I was so excited for Daniel Ricciardo, but I was upset for Nick DeVries. But
I honestly, when the news came out last week, I didn't believe it at first.
No, because it was like, it wasn't official yet.
Yes. And even when the
But there's a whole timeline.
Even when the official statement came out, I was like, no way this is true. Because we had talked so much throughout the year and throughout recording the show that we said we would love to see Daniel Ricciardo back. We love bull.
Yeah, it was like hypothetical.
Right. Which when every time we talked about it, I was like, if he comes back, he's coming back next season. He said he wanted to take some time off, said he wanted to step away from the sport. He's coming back at the earliest next season, in which we kind of developed the timeline of, okay, he'll come back next season. He'll race on a smaller team, AlphaTauri, or, whatever AlphaTauri is becoming next year.
Yeah, whatever their name is.
And then following that, maybe then there's a chance that he goes to Red Bull or something. Or maybe he signs with a different team and he becomes one of their drivers. We had talked about it so many times that it was always just in my head of just like, he's not racing this year. And then obviously last week, the news comes out and we had talked about it, that Nick DeVries was driving for his job.
Yeah.
We didn't realize at the time how true that statement was, did
you see the whole timeline? Do you want me to explain the timeline to you?
Kind of,
yeah. How it happened? So when we recorded Monday, when did they do their testing? Did he do his testing Tuesday?
He did it.
Or Wednesday?
Tuesday, because I remember it was very shortly after the race.
Yes. Okay, yeah, because we recorded Monday. We were talking about the rumors about maybe it happening. And then but the rumors were after summer break. And then Tuesday, Daniel Ricciardo's doing his testing. They're literally posting, like, look who's back. He's smiling ear to ear. He goes out there. His times for testing would have been, he would have been on the front row of the grid for Sunday's race, next to Max. Like, he literally would have been up there. His times were amazing. He went the fastest out of any person that was doing tire testing. Now, I get it. The tires, they're not. But it was also tires. They were testing the tires not under the tire blankets. So, like, they were putting them on, like, cold.
Which
also, yeah. So, apparently, he did, like, a few laps. Helmut Marko calls Christian Horner. Or Christian Horner calls him and says, like, he's doing really well. Like, he looks good. It's, like, Daniel Ricciardo of old. All this stuff. Next thing you know, Christian Horner apparently gets a call, like, an hour later and says, DeVries is sacked. So there's a picture. They have pictures from the day they're posting of Daniel Ricciardo in the car. Christian Horner's in the background on his phone. People are like, is that the phone call? Like, is that the first phone call or the second phone call? So Nick DeVries woke up in the morning with the job. Like, he went to bed Sunday after the race with the job.
Employed, yeah.
Employed. So apparently Helmut Marko called Nick DeVries' like camp, his people, and said, or Nick DeVries and said, you're done. We're going to replace you with Daniel Ricciardo. They're the people that leaked the news to the Dutch media, like, right away. They literally hung up the phone, turned right around, and said, okay. So they controlled when the news broke. So AlphaTauri was not ready to make that news happen that day.
Fantastic.
And so then they were scrambling. That's why they photoshopped Daniel Ricciardo onto Nick DeVries' body. So he literally drove the car a few laps. Christian Horner says how well he's doing. Helmut Marko picks up the phone and says, he's gone. Nick DeVries' family leaks the news to the Dutch media. Daniel Ricciardo is officially back. So, like, that was... And then, like, they posted nothing, like, saying, I get Nick DeVries didn't get race in half the season. Like, I get it. He wasn't good. Not memorable. They didn't even post, like, a goodbye, thank you. There was one quote in the press release. No post. You would have thought the F1 official account was run by a, Daniel Ricciardo fan account. There might have been 20 posts about him coming back. That's what I was like. I feel bad for Nick DeVries. Like, someone's like, his body's not even cold yet. Yeah. I mean, it's Red Bull. It doesn't surprise me. It's Red Bull that they would just do that while Daniel Ricciardo's driving tire tests.
I mean, it's It is hard because it's like you're saying, you feel bad for Nick DeVries. The way that he kind of found out was a little shitty, of just like, hey, I went to bed, I have a job, woke up in the morning, hey, don't have a job, like, shit.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like, how many times have we watched Drive to Survive and they're always talking about like you will get dropped at any like if you
It's
don't
Red Bull.
perform, like if you don't perform, you will get dropped. Like
Yeah.
And I truthfully like in the first couple seasons of watching Drive to Survive, obviously the way they paint it, it was always if you don't drive well, you're gonna get dropped. You have to perform, to keep your seat, blah blah. And then they, the end of the year, the end of the season, they go over all the changes of drivers that are happening. And I always thought that to me was very akin to like NHL offseason. And it was like,
oh, it totally is.
It was like, okay, everybody races for their teams throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, that's when all the changes happen. And that's when it is like silly season. And it's, okay, hey guys, sorry, I'm going over here about all this stuff. This is the first experience that I think I've had watching F1 real time and seeing sacked in the middle of the race.
Because we didn't watch it when Pierre got sacked in the middle of the season and Alex Albon came in and then they sacked him. Like we didn't, we weren't here for that.
It's wild to me. But it's like, I said this when we started recording. Like I either can be really upset that Nick DeVries is out, or I could be really happy that Daniel Ricciardo is back. And I'm choosing to be really happy.
No, as the news is settled, I'm more and more excited for Daniel Ricciardo. I can't wait to see that new opening on Friday.
It's gonna be great.
I just want to know what kind of pose he's doing. Is he pulling a George Russell? Is he pulling a Charles Leclerc leaning up against the wall? Knowing him, it's going to be boy band too. So.
I really hope they just Photoshop his face over Nick DeVries, because that would just be the icing on the cake. That would just be the quick, just like, guys, you need to like AI deep fake his face onto Nick DeVries. Do that. Like,
well, and I saw, so apparently before Hungary last year, I should have double checked, but that's when he posted that video about McLaren forcing him out and buying out his contract. And then now before Hungary this year, he's coming back. So people are like, the difference that a year makes for Daniel Ricciardo, like he's literally been through it in 1 year. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the opening. I'm excited for Daniel and Yuki content. That's just match made in heaven.
I'm excited for that too, because those two will just bounce off of each other.
Yeah,
insanely. Like
they're gonna be so excited, or they're gonna be so fun. I mean, even that video when Daniel Ricciardo pushes Yuki into the water is already hilarious. Like,
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I did see? I don't know if they knew or if they were just planning, because it's Daniel Ricciardo is Drive to Survive's golden boy. The cameras were there.
Of course they were.
At the tire testing. They were there.
Why would they not be?
Because apparently Sebastian Vettel was also there, because I think he was practicing for the Festival of Speed coming up in some of the cars. But yeah, there's a shot and Drive to Survive cameras are in the background. So I was like, those Drive to Survive producers are like, cha-ching,
oh my God, yeah.
They're so excited.
I wouldn't even be shocked. Now, they definitely did plan it and everything, just because that was like the one footage of Daniel Ricciardo they were going to get.
Daniel Ricciardo, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if one of the producers on Drive to Survive, or anybody in that market, that team, got the word that this might be happening, and they were pretty much just like, go, like, be there now. Like, and that's why they were all there, like, just for the instance of like, holy shit, this happened. And guess what? It happened. It
happened. No, I'm excited. I said if I hear one Pierre Gasly and Nico Hülkenberg coming from Daniel Ricciardo, the way he says it, I will freak out. No, I'm excited to see how he does. We can go into more of where we think he'll finish in the predictions, but I truly believe also that Daniel Ricciardo coming back is also a threat to Checo.
I wouldn't be shocked either. Yeah.
I've seen people saying that they...
Keep talking.
I don't think it was...
I saw a quote earlier that I want to read to you.
Okay. I don't think it was officially from one of the Red Bull guys, the Red Bull higher-ups, but I believe that this is a threat to Daniel Ricciardo, because I think Christian Horner said that Daniel Ricciardo is trying to go for that Red Bull seat in 2024
or 2025. That's what I wanted to read to you. It was, where the heck is it? I know I saw it. It was essentially, it was essentially that of just like Christian Horner saying like, we're not gonna. Where the fuck is it? I don't know. I can't find it, but that's essentially what it was. It was, he's not, our racers for 2024 are Checo and Max, but he said Daniel is definitely vying for
the 2025
seat, like 100%. And I'm like, good.
I mean,
like,
and that goes back to, is that this dream team that, I mean, clearly if he drove that well in the Red Bull for that tire testing, he probably could do pretty well in the Red Bull car. So that could be the dream team that Christian Horner wants. I mean, we got good fighting with them when they were on the team before, when they crashed into each other, to the back of each other.
That'd be hilarious if they recreated that.
Yeah. But, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for Daniel Ricciardo. Now he gets his dream come true. He gets the race in Vegas. He's only been saying for like 5 years that he wants the race in Vegas. He gets to do it. People want to know how he's... I want to know, not people. I want to know how he's going to top his entrance at Coda this year, because last year he came in on horseback. So, like, there's a lot...
I forgot he did that.
I'm excited to see what his helmet looks like, if he's going to have... Because he had one, but it was, I think, more Red Bull driven for... the other day for the tire testing. But yeah, I'm excited to see him back. But yeah, that's the beginning of silly season. I'm sure
welcome.
There'll be more. It's just the beginning. I mean, last year we had the whole Oscar Piastri fiasco, and we haven't had anything like that this year.
That's true. If we could get another like saga like that,
I saw someone post. It was like, I've never refreshed Twitter so much last year when that happened, because everyone was looking for updates, and then it was like a screen recording of someone's phone, and it was all the tweets, like from Alpine first, and then Oscar Piastri's tweet, and then McLaren's tweet, and then Oscar Piastri's tweet again, like the F1 news. Yeah, it was a lot. But yes, that's it for weekly news. We could have just done a whole episode on weekly news, but we do have other stuff to get to. But yes, moving on. It's time for another edition of History with Owen. No hat today?
History with me. No, sorry. I was rushing. I didn't really have a lot. I didn't have a lot of time to think of a topic and get a lot of information. But I think I did pretty okay. I think I did all right. We are staying.
I'll say there's some memorable races from Hungary, so I'm sure that was
true. Which I didn't look up, but there's one of them. One of them's in here. We're staying with Netflix's Drive to Survive, Golden Boy.
Ooh.
And we're doing
Ricciardo.
Short little bio and history on one Mr. Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, yes, okay.
I figured, I was trying to think of an idea, and I was like, should I do Hungarian, like the track history? What should I do? All this stuff. Couldn't think of an idea. And then I was like trying to think of what happened throughout the week to like tie into the race and keep it fresh and everything. And then I was like, oh my God, Daniel Ricciardo is back. I was like, I'll just do a history on Daniel Ricciardo and his entire, or his life, karting and everything. So very happy with my my choice. I really liked reading about him. So do a couple fast,
good guy.
Do a couple fast facts about Daniel. He was born July 1st, 1989. So first of all, happy belated birthday, Daniel. We share a birthday with our father.
It's a good day. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. He is 34 years old, and he was born in Perth, Australia. He was born to his father, who is Italian, and his name is Giuseppe Joe Ricciardo, who I saw his father's hometown, and I meant to write it down, but I forgot as I was typing this up. But his father moved to Australia, where he met his mother, Grace. I tried finding her maiden name, but I couldn't. So Grace Ricciardo. Obviously, they got married and everything and had Daniel. He also has one sister as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen the pictures. His nieces and stuff came to the race. His last race last year. They come to races sometimes. So
Yeah,
his
so
niece and nephew, I think.
he has a total of 8 Grand Prix victories, and a total of 32 podiums throughout his entire racing history, or his Formula One history. My bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can make that a little bit more in both categories. And his debut race was at the 2011 British Grand Prix, which I did check is available to watch on F1 TV if you are interested.
Ooh.
I did go and check that. So like I said, Daniel, he is an Australian and Italian racer born to Giuseppe Joe Ricciardo and Grace Ricciardo. He does have one sister, and he says that his earliest memory of motorsport was actually watching his father drive at the Barbagallo Raceway in Wanneroo, I think is how you say it.
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's spelled Wannneroo. Wanneroo is what I'm guessing. So he began karting at the age of 9, where in 2005 he entered into the Western Australian Formula Ford Championship, driving a 15-year-old car. For those
Wait, that's kind of old for Formula One drivers. They all start when they're like 3 and 4.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like he started very old for drivers. Yeah. So Formula Ford, I did a quick little look into this. It's also known as F1600 or Formula F. It's pretty much considered to be the first major stepping stone to Formula Series racing from karting. So as
like a single seater.
Yes. So as you kart throughout your life, you do that and everything. When it's time that you kind of, I guess, make that decision of like, I want to be a racer, where do I go from here? Formula Ford is the next place to go. So once he made that switch and everything, he traded in his 15-year-old car and he leased a 13-year-old model to race in the National Formula Ford Series. So this is where his car age kind of bit him in the ass because it was a little too outdated. And out of 3 races, he finished 16th, 17th, and then he retired from a race, respectively.
Ooh.
So then in 2007, he competed in the Formula Renault 2.0 Italia and finished 6th, which then earned him a spot on the Red Bull Junior team. He was a part of a couple other people that were a part of the Red Bull Junior team, but finishing 6th in that race was enough to impress the people to get him on the junior team for Red Bull. So from there, then, he then made his Formula 3 debut in 2008 at the Nürburgring for the SG Formula's Formula 3 Euro Series team.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up. I couldn't find a lot of information on it, so I kind of just left it. But then, because shortly after, in 2009, he moved to the British Formula 3 League and competed in British Formula 3 Championship, driving for Carlin Motorsport. So that was a much easier team to pronounce or understand.
I felt like I remember from the Drive to Survive where they like talked to his mom and stuff that he moved away from home.
Yes.
When he was young. And that would make sense.
So then from there, he was then signed to the Tech 1 team to compete for them in the upcoming 2010 season. But this is a really funny sentence because it's very much like Daniel Ricciardo energy at the front half of the sentence and then the back half of the sentence. So it's due to an injury, mountain biking, he missed the second test of that season. So it's like, hey, I got hurt mountain biking, like I can't drive anymore, which to me it just fits Daniel Ricciardo to a T. But then I was like trying to like summarize all this information. So then I wrote down, but was able to take pole position for both races at the season opener.
Oh my God.
So he misses the test, recovers from an injury, and then is able to take pole position at the season opener.
It's like if Lance Stroll was able to take pole position at the start of the season.
Right. So then he spent the rest of his time here for the Tech 1 team leading up to his debut in Formula 1 for the Red Bull Racing team.
Red Bull
there's a little caveat to that as well. So
was Sebastian Vettel his first partner?
I read something about that. Yes.
I know they drove together.
Don't quote me on that. I read something about that, but I closed out all my tabs, so I can't quickly reference it.
I'll look it up.
Should have kept them up. So his debut in a
Wait,
Formula
sorry,
1
what
car,
year did he?
2011.
Okay.
Or actually, 2014. 2014 for Red Bull. I'll explain.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So his debut in a Formula 1 car was not during a race, but was instead when he tested for the Red Bull Racing in 2009. Casey's shaking her head. Sebastian Vettel was his first teammate. So on the last day of testing in 2009, this was also when he was racing for Carlin Motorsport and Tech 1 and everything. He was also testing for Red Bull. So in 2009, on the last day of testing, he clocked the fastest time of anybody by more than a second.
Oh, wow.
So then because of that, he then operated either alone or with others as Red Bull's test/reserve driver. So essentially the position he is now.
Now.
Was now.
Oh, was.
So then this is the little caveat with his debut, right? So Red Bull Racing contracted him out to Hispania Racing in 2011 and basically said, like, hey, from here on out, you're going to race for Hispania Racing for the rest of the 2011 season. So he made his debut at the British Grand Prix in 2011, technically still working for Red Bull, but he was racing for Hispania.
So kind of like if he was like what he's going to be now. He was working for Red Bull, but he's driving for AlphaTauri.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
So then in 2011, he spent the rest of the season driving for them. And then in 2012 and 2013, he drove for Toro Rosso, who then obviously became AlphaTauri. And then...
for a while, though.
Yeah. And then shortly then after, in 2014, is when he signed for Red Bull, started driving for Red Bull, and he stayed there until 2018. Obviously, from there, we know the rest. He drives for Red Bull until 2018. Then he moves to Renault, spends some time at Renault, goes to McLaren, has his time at McLaren, leaves McLaren, and has now made his way back to Red Bull.
It says he was promoted to Red Bull as a replacement because Mark Webber retired, and that's when Sebastian Vettel was his first partner at Red Bull.
Yes. So I looked it up too. I did a little information because I wanted to look this up. I have 5 of the best Daniel Ricciardo races written down, and it's so funny.
Is this Red Bull or not? But like all non-Red Bull.
This is Red Bull. This is it.
Okay.
They all have to be Red Bull. They weren't.
Ooh,
it wasn't
Monza's
like
not on there?
Okay, never mind. I got the information from Red Bull's website, so it makes sense.
Okay. It's biased.
Why it's all Red Bull. Yes, it's a little biased.
Okay.
So yes, there's 2021 Italian Grand Prix. He did win that one. So that was big.
But with McLaren.
But the ones that I found were the 2018 Chinese Grand Prix.
Okay.
And then this is where the pattern starts. The 2014 Canadian Grand Prix, the 2014 British Grand Prix, the 2014 Hungarian Grand Prix, and the 2014 Belgian Grand Prix. So 2014 was a fucking monster.
It was a great year.
For Daniel Ricciardo.
Especially if he's driving with Sebastian Vettel as his driving team.
So that is your short.
Well, his win with Red Bull in Monaco wasn't on that list.
Maybe it was. I could have stopped. Let me.
Because what's that? The first season of Drive to Survive, his last year with Red Bull when he won Monaco.
Yes.
2018.
Let me see if I can find the. Here we go. 10 best F1 races for Daniel Ricciardo. You know what? I'm just gonna read from this list. I'm just gonna read the whole list.
It's gonna be all 2014.
You have the 2018 Chinese Grand Prix, which is the one I mentioned. He started in P6 and he finishes P1.
Okay.
There is this is where it definitely is biased because they have the 2012 Bahrain Grand Prix on here, and it says he started 6 and finished P15. Obviously not a great race for Daniel, but sure. Go ahead. 2014 Canadian Grand Prix started P6, finished P1. 2014 British Grand Prix started P8, finished P3. 2014 Hungarian Grand Prix started P4, finished P1. 2014 Belgian Grand Prix finished P5, started P5, finished P1. 2014 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix started P19, finished P4.
Damn.
That's good.
2014 was really his prime.
Yeah. 2016 Monaco Grand Prix started P1, finished P2. 2016 Malaysian Grand Prix started P4, finished P1. 2017 Azerbaijan started P10, finished P1. That's a really good race. Holy shit. And that's where the list ends right there.
Yeah, so they didn't include his Monaco win for Red Bull.
Well, that's a little upsetting.
Well,
But-
maybe I don't remember if I don't think he started P1 and finished P1. Like, I feel like I'm never watching a Drive to Survive episode where it was a battle between him and Sebastian Vettel, and maybe also Lewis Hamilton at the same time.
What year was that?
I don't know. Whenever he won Monaco, I want to say 2018, but I couldn't make that up.
Monaco, Daniel Ricciardo. Yep.
Yeah, May
And
27th, 2018.
Sebastian Vettel is in second.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
because that was when Sebastian Vettel was with Ferrari.
Yes. So
I
there
think
you
that
go.
was Kimi's last year.
Add that to your list. The 2018 Monaco Grand Prix for a good Daniel Ricciardo race. But yeah, that is your history with Owen, Daniel Ricciardo edition
I liked that history with Owen.
for
that was-
Daniel Ricciardo week.
Yeah, it is Daniel Ricciardo week. I thought if you were doing the Hungarian Grand Prix, because I've seen like the clips. I don't remember the Hungarian Grand Prix last year at all. Like, I don't remember George Russell. George Russell took pole. I have no memory. Charles Leclerc did a great overtake on George Russell. No memory. That's when Nicholas Latifi was like P1 after a practice. There was also the 1 year where they restarted a race and Lewis Hamilton was the only person out there. I want to say 2021 or 2020. They're like all in the pit lane. It's like the clip he's literally by himself. But yeah, I had literally no memory of the Hungarian Grand Prix. But yes, we'll move on to our predictions. I'm getting hungry.
Predictions for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Well, first off, we will do the fast facts.
Fast facts.
So yes, obviously it's this weekend, July 21st, 22nd, 23rd. The times really have not changed from the past 2 weekends. Practice 1 is at 7:30 to 8:30. Practice 2 is 11 to 12. July 22nd, practice 3 is 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Quali, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then the race is Sunday at 9 a.m. with 70 laps. I need to add a slide because I will go into that next. There are 14 turns, and like I said, 70 laps. It's just over 2.5 miles long. It's a wide shaped circuit, if that makes sense.
I'm looking at the map now. It is, yeah.
And one DRS zone right near the end between 13 and 14. I mean, that last straight, the Red Bull is going to literally take off because they have updates coming and they're going to be 2/10 faster. So they're literally just going to take off.
Wait, the DRS zone is in the one.
It's between 13 and 14.
Last straight between 13 and 14. That's so short.
It's not even a straight. It's a little turn. It's literally like basically a turn. Yeah. And then there's a speed trap between 14 and 1. But like that last straight is going to be – the Red Bull is legit going to take off into the air. That's a runway for them. They're just going to see ya. The lap record was set by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. A 1:16.6 is what he went. And then the past 2 winners, I forgot about this. So last year, Max won. Maybe that's why it's not memorable, because Max won. And I'll probably win this week.
Would make sense.
And 2021, Esti Bestie won. The Hungarian Grand Prix. Yeah. But yes, before we do our predictions, I did think I saw that there's no chance of rain for Sunday, but there could be rain on Saturday during qualifying, which qualifying is going to be different because if you notice, qualifying is an hour long this time, so there's changes to the format. I think they wanted to do this during Imola, but then obviously Imola didn't happen.
Right.
So this weekend, the drivers will have to use a different compound for each qualifying session with the tires. So Q1 is just the hards. Everyone has to be on the hards. Q2 is only on the mediums, and then Q3 is the softs. So obviously, because Q3 they're going to be flying, they can't spend time warming them up. But it will be interesting to see with the hards how, like, if it's like Ferrari last weekend, those 2 cars are barely making out of Q1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And then
interesting.
the tire sets will also be reduced from 13 to 11. They're allowed 3 sets of hards, 4 sets of mediums, and 4 sets of softs. But I feel like if it's going to be raining, they won't have that. I feel like they'll keep it pretty. No, I don't think they would do the difference, but I don't know. But yes, they're my fast facts. Predictions for qualifying. Go ahead. Do you want to go first?
Sorry.
Distracted.
I'm sorry. I was answering a quick text. Predictions for quali.
Now remember, I said so. Sorry, not to interrupt. Red Bull's apparently going to look totally different. They're going with the no side pod theory or practice, and apparently there will be 2/10 quicker because we all need them to be quicker.
I'm gonna go. Okay. I'm gonna say my boy Checo is gonna do well this qualifying. I think he's gonna go P1. I think he's gonna figure it out.
Oh,
I think he's gonna figure it out.
P1.
I'm gonna go. Now I'm just trying to rapid fire. Leclerc, Verstappen, P2, P3.
Okay. Qualifying, I'm gonna go Verstappen P1. I'm gonna go Leclerc P2, and I think McLaren might be able to keep the momentum. I'm gonna put.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Because he was gypped by that damn safety card. I'm gonna put Oscar Piastri P3. There you go.
Okay.
That's my quali.
I like it.
I think he has. I mean, he doesn't have anything to prove. He drove brilliantly last weekend. So, but yeah, Verstappen, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri. Let's go for it.
I love it.
And then the race.
All right, race.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
Daniel Ricciardo on the podium. Just kidding.
P1 Verstappen. P2 Daniel Ricciardo.
No, for real.
It's mostly just because I believe in him, but it's also if the time, I know he was driving the Red Bull, but if the times are to be believed and he's the Daniel Ricciardo of old, he can perform. He can perform. P3 Charles Leclerc.
Okay. P1 Max Verstappen. P2. I think I'm gonna keep it as my quali. P2 Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri gets on that podium. P3.
I would love to see it.
I think he might be the best rookie McLaren's had since Lewis Hamilton. So I'll go with that. Okay, so my next question was going to be, where do you think Daniel Ricciardo is going to finish? Does he finish in the points? Does he beat Yuki Tsunoda?
I think, yes. If he doesn't finish P2,
does he out-qualify Checo? You say no, Jeff.
That would be fucking hilarious if he does.
Could you imagine?
That would be so funny. Okay, yes, P2 was a little bit of a wild take, but I still think he could do it. Realistically, I could see him going anywhere between P6 to P8.
Yeah, I see him finishing in the points, but lower in the points. I see that happening.
I could see that happen because I think I'm sure he's doing sims with AlphaTauri's car now just to try to get used to it and everything, but it's obviously his first time driving this car in real life, and obviously it's his first race back in a while. He's going to have both excitement and nervous jitters, so I think that's going to fuck with him a little bit.
Yeah, I keep thinking I feel like Friday might be a little rough for him, but he'll have it figured out by the end of P2 or practice FP2. Whatever the name of it is.
I could definitely see. Yes, I could definitely see somewhere in the bottom half of the points. I'll go with that.
And I also feel like he does beat Yuki Tsunoda. I feel like they're going to prioritize him a little bit more than Yuki this weekend, which isn't a bad thing, but I can see that happening. But yeah, I see him ending in the points. I think he'll be driver of the day. If he ends in the points, if he has a good race, he'll be driver of the day by a landslide.
if he finishes the race, he will be driver of the day.
Yeah. I
agree.
I voted the past 2 driver of the days. I don't normally ever vote, but Alex Albon I voted, and Lando Norris last week I voted. So if he's doing well, I will be voting again.
I'm gonna pull up a sports book and see if it can tell me what the odds are for Ricciardo finishing in the points, and if Daniel Ricciardo can make me a little bit of money.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, I would. Don't get me wrong. If he finishes P2, if he's anywhere on the podium, I will be so happy.
Oh yeah.
If he's anywhere,
Chewy in 2 seconds.
yeah. If he's anywhere inside the points, I will be happy. The only way that I would be unhappy with his race is if he crashes and is a DNF. That's the only way that I'll be unhappy, and that's only if it's like it's his fault. Or if it's actually, let me flip that. If it's somebody else's fault, that's how I'll be unhappy, because that is completely out of his control. And if somebody slams into him and takes him out of the race, then I'll be like, what the fuck?
I also, if he beats Checo in qualifying, I will be on Twitter and every social media app the minute that happens, because the memes will be out of this world. But
if you go by the last couple qualifying sessions, all Daniel Ricciardo has to do is get out of Q1, and he beat Checo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild for me to say that, but
it's all it takes.
It's all it takes. And yeah, I would crack up, and that Christian Horner is then just staring at Checo, just being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah, right. Also, you should look on a sportsbook app if there's a thing to say like something will be wrong with Leclerc's car, because it's every weekend. Some weird thing will happen. This sounds awful. Ferrari's due for a DNF. Ferrari is due for a retirement. It's been too long. It's been way too long.
Ferrari definitely is due for one. I agree.
I'll cry. But yes, those are predictions.
Let me see if I can
anything else?
Pull this up. No, I'm having trouble with sportsbooks. So I'm gonna go with a no. Yeah, I got nothing else. Nothing else. All right. Thank you for listening to the special Daniel Ricciardo edition.
Literally.
F1 Underground. It was
That's
funny. I was
Kurt, tough Kurt.
typing is like the history up earlier, and I was typing his full last name out. I just shortened it to so his full name is spelled Ricciardo, right?
Yeah.
I eventually just shortened it to Ricciardo because I didn't want to type out the full thing because I was trying to fly through it. But
oh my god, my phone at this point knows how to spell Ricciardo, and half the time I just call him Danny Rick or DR because his last name is.
I call him Danny Rick in the thing.
I literally was like, I don't have merch. I was like, I don't own Daniel Ricciardo merch to put on something to this episode.
I was gonna wear my Red Bull jersey, just didn't Spirit, but it does also say Verstappen on the back, so maybe not.
I think you can now get a Daniel Ricciardo jersey from them, like a Red Bull Daniel Ricciardo jersey.
That'd be really cool. All right, well, yeah.
I want one of his merch.
Yes, I want one of his merch as well. If you enjoyed this episode, I hope you guys did. Please give us a follow at Underground F1 on Instagram and Threads, and then also Underground_F1 on Twitter. Casey has them below on the banner. You can see it. It's going by right now. Please go give us a follow us on there.
The Bird app is still alive.
Absolutely blowing up. We are at 210 followers at the time of this recording, which is huge. Absolutely massive for us. And, we're hoping that we can take this thing as high as we can possibly go and use any social media to our means to get there. So please go give us a follow, shoot us a message, say hi, do whatever you can to interact with us on there. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you want to email us, we have an email. It is undergroundf1pod@gmail.com. Again, that's undergroundf1pod@gmail.com. Just again, same thing. Say hi. Let us know if you like the show. Let us know if there's anything you don't like, anything we want to change, anything you want us to talk about. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. And please leave a review for the show wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I don't know if SoundCloud has podcasts. I'm not sure. Please, anywhere you get your podcast, please give us a review. That also helps the show grow so much. Puts us in the face of so many more people when they load up their podcast app. Please do. With following, please also give our main YouTube page a follow over at Underground Sports Philadelphia. This is our main hub right now for all of our podcast shows on the Underground Network. You get Underground Sports Philadelphia, you get Streamer Season, you get Get in the Hole, Top Bins, On the Box, which is a lacrosse podcast. I'm blanking on the name.
Out of the box.
Out of the box, something. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kyle's going to kill me for this. But please go give us a follow on that. We're getting very close to approaching like partial monetization numbers, which would be so cool because then we could do more live streams from that channel for all of our shows. It just grants us so many more tools to kind of grow the page more and everything. So please give them a subscribe over there. We're trying to reach 600 subscribers as quickly as possible. I did not check the number before we started recording, so I don't know. But please go give them a follow, a subscribe, go like some videos, go like our videos. You get full video format episodes on that channel. So yeah, please go give us a follow. Come say hi to us, message us.
We're 516. 516.
516. So that's the number I had from last week. So that's not good. Go follow us, people. Come on. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, because we have there's some races coming up that are decent times, so we could do some lives again. So
yeah, it'd be great to do some lives again. It'd be a lot of fun.
Brazil, Mexico, Coda.
That is all. That is all for today. We will see you next week after watching Daniel Ricciardo either do something really great or something really bad. We'll find out.
Yeah. Go Daniel Ricciardo. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Yes. See you later.